for this week's report. Exeter sees high voter turnout at the general election. Share your ideas for Pairpoint Park in a new survey. Eyes on Exeter exhibit explores the town's past through photographs. Daughters of the American Revolution unveil historic marker at cemetery. And one lucky 101-year-old gets her last wish granted. For Exeter TV, I'm Bob Glowacki, and this is the Exeter Biweekly Report. Let's get started. Thanks for tuning into the show today. If you're new or returning to the channel, please like this video and subscribe and hit the bell to get notified about new content. We're hoping to hit over 2,000 YouTube subscribers by the end of the year. Only 4 more bi-weekly reports to go till then. For our first segment, Exeter saw huge lines and turnout at the Tuesday, November 5th general election. We stopped by the polls throughout the day to see for ourselves. Joining the rest of the country, Exeter voters cast their ballots for president alongside representatives to send to Washington, D.C. and Concord during the general election. Lines at one point stretched all the way from the check-in tables to Linden Street. When we arrived at the polls, the army of 60 volunteers were doing a great job keeping things moving. Residents don't only show up on election day to vote, but to man the polls. Volunteers ran the check-in tables, assisted with directing lines, and even handed out the all-important I voted stickers. A quick thanks goes to Otto's Pizza for donating enough food to keep all of these volunteers and staff fed all day. The hard work of volunteers and the willingness to turn out was much appreciated by the public, as one voter explained.
We came through this morning around 10 and the line was all the way around the building and out onto the street. So we said, well, we're going to come back later. And so we came back now, and it's about half as long. It only took about 25 minutes. We're just thrilled at such a turnout. This is just fantastic that so many people are dedicated to giving their opinion. We think it's great. I think it's wonderful.
With 10,418 ballots cast in the 2024 election, Exeter came just short of its 2020 turnout, which saw 10,422 voters. Exeter had 748 new registered voters, bringing the total number of voters in town to 13,418. The turnout percentage for this election was over 77%. Exeter chose Kamala Harris as their pick for president with 6,783 votes to Donald Trump's 3,385. The down-ballot races also went blue, with candidates receiving nearly twice as many votes as their Republican counterparts in all contests except for the governor's race, where Kelly Ayotte received 4,099 votes to Joyce Craig's 5,974. Full results can be found on the town's election page, exeternh.gov/election. Ever wondered what was behind the fence between the Chocolatier and Cornicello on Water Street? It's soon to be Exeter's newest public park, and the town needs your input on what should go there. Once home to a jewelry shop, the lot at 23 Water Street has remained vacant for over 30 years after a fire in 1990. The newly formed Pairpoint Park Stakeholders Advisory Committee has been hard at work for the last few months to form recommendations to give to the Select Board about the future of the park. To that end, the committee recently launched an online survey which can be found on the town website. We met up with one of the committee members, Amanda Kelly, to take a look at the vacant lot and see what's behind the fence.
So it's a pretty small space. We're thinking of it like a pocket park. It's got a pretty steep grade to start with, but that doesn't mean we're going to end up that way. We have this fantastic granite on site that actually, looks like a pile of rubble, but it's pretty cool because it's antique granite. That might be a nice feature to use in some capacity. And then we have this amazing river view. The park extends to just shy of this cement wall here. That is owned by New Hampshire Fish and Game, and that won't be changing. That is not our property. But the rest of this can become whatever we might envision.
The survey will be open for responses until the end of December. The committee also plans to attend several events and have suggestion boxes for those not able to take the survey online.
We're not asking for any specifics. We're not asking for you to vote on anything. Just what do you see in this space? And then once we get 800 or 1,000 responses is what we're hoping for, we'll start to categorize those and find the themes and find what people are generally interested in, and we'll start to narrow it down from there. But rather than us guiding the process, we want the citizens to guide the process.
To find the survey online, head to the town website, exeternh.gov. While Exeter TV takes pride in filming events across town and capturing Exeter's story, there's one man who has us beat. Curious to learn more? The Exeter Historical Society currently has a new exhibit and recently hosted a program dedicated to the man behind the lens of Ben's photo. The town hall was packed on Wednesday, November 6th for the Exeter Historical Society's monthly lecture. This week's talk was entitled Eyes on Exeter, referring not to many people, but one person in particular. The man behind the lens of Ben's photo, Ben Swazinski.
I'm honored to ask to speak tonight and represent the family, to share with you a very small sampling from the body of work done by our father, Ben, in his 50-plus years as a professional photographer here in Exeter. By my rough estimate, Ben took over 30,000 individual shots with his Graflex camera, covering virtually every aspect of life in his beloved community, his lifelong home, doing the thing he loved best.
Jim went on to showcase his father's work throughout the decades, depicting the people, places, and events from Exeter, even documenting cutting-edge technology used by town departments past. The full talk is now available on Exeter TV in case you missed it, and the Eyes on Exeter exhibit is now on display at the Historical Society through November 26th, with a special reception on Friday, November 8th from 5 to 8 p.m. Jim Swazinski is working with the Historical Society to donate the collection so that it can live on as a resource for future generations. As Historical Society curator and co-executive director Barbara Imkunis explains.
It doesn't just tell us about the event that's going on, whatever he's photographing on that particular day, say the Lions Club auction, but we can also see things in the background of the photos. So we're looking at what people were wearing, really wearing, not what a Sears and Roebuck catalog shows us people were wearing, but what they were actually wearing, what was practical for this town. We can find out if it's a street scene, the things that are behind them. We can sometimes date the photos by whether there are parking meters on the street. We can look at them and know what the weather was looking like that day. I mean, there's so many things that a historian can get out of a visual depiction of what's going on in the town. And that, for us, is fantastic.
Summing up the collection, Jim speaks about how it not only demonstrates Exeter's past, but his father's devotion to the community.
Just an appreciation for the fact that it's the work of a single person that was committed and really devoted to the town of Exeter. And they reciprocated, provided a living for him and a community and the sense of purpose that a lot of people look for in their lives, hopefully all of us.
The Daughters of the American Revolution recently held a ceremony to unveil a historic marker dedicated to the black veterans of the American Revolutionary War. We were there to mark the event.
On Saturday, November 2nd, the Daughters of the American Revolution took to Winter Street Cemetery to celebrate the unveiling of their newest historic marker. Set in place on the Front Street side of the cemetery, the marker honors New Hampshire's Black Revolutionary War veterans, reading, "Many black soldiers and sailors, including those whose service went unrecorded, played a crucial role in the Revolutionary War, bringing light to the two black veterans whose final resting place lay within the very cemetery, Private Jude Hall and Private Tobias Cutler, whom the daughters, specifically Jude Hall's last living relative, laid wreaths upon once the marker had been unveiled." Taking a trolley, the daughters moved to the Lad Gilman House in the lot of the American Independence Museum. There, the daughters and other representatives in town, such as the Historic Society's Barbara Rankunis and Town Selectman Julie Gilman, spoke on behalf of the Lad Gilman House, Exeter's historic contributions to the Revolutionary War, and other such things, ending the day with their second and final marker unveiled right outside of the museum, upon the steps honoring Revolutionary War patriots, commemorating their achievements in helping give America independence. For more information about the Daughters of the American Revolution, as well as the historic markers around town, you can visit their website at exeter.nhsodar.org.
And for our last segment, you may have heard about one local centenarian that was featured in the news recently for getting one of her last wishes granted. We wanted to learn more about that wish and the community effort that made it happen. Gabe Perez has the story.
On the eve of her 101st birthday, Langdon Place of Exeter resident Virginia Murphy had one wish: to dance the waltz one more time.
I've loved dancing all my life. But the joke was, I would like to find somebody that's young enough, willing enough to dance the waltz with me, not just shuffle their feet, to please me. That's my last asking before I pass on.
Starting from a young age of 4, Virginia would take a broom and mop and shape them to imitate the footing positions of Scottish dancing, which helped her adapt and visualize how the dance would work, beginning her long lifetime experiences of dance.
I heard about a better teacher who had theater experience. And when I tried to go there, my family couldn't afford it. So she said, if you're willing to help me teach, like the little children and ballroom, that will pay for your lessons. So I did that through high school.
At 101 years old, her wish seemed like a long shot, but as Virginia's birthday drew closer, Denise Petty, executive director of Langdon Place, couldn't stop thinking about Virginia's one wish.
We knew we were going to throw a little party. We invited family to come. We were going to have cake and sing happy birthday and things like that. And I just started thinking, for whatever reason, of that comment she had made and thought, well, wouldn't that be nice if we could have somebody there to dance a waltz with her? Probably about 2 weeks prior to her birthday party, I threw a comment up on the Exeter Facebook page, hoping that somebody would just, maybe some nice gentleman in the area that knew how to dance would step up and say, I'll come in and dance with her. And it just blew up. It was the town of Exeter just wrapping their arms around Virginia.
One resident, Kim Lennon, owner of Crystal Ballroom, got in contact with Denise and brought in professional dancer Sam.
He hid around the corner, and I just kind of announced and said, thank you all for attending, and we have a little surprise. Little birdie told me that Virginia wanted to dance another waltz with a really good partner, and so for your birthday, we got you a really good partner.
Sam came out and he looked like a knight in shining armor. Sam held me well, gently, and risked saying to me, you want to try a twist? And I thought, I'm going to land right on my you-know-what, and that will be embarrassing. But he held me firm, but gently, and gave me the room to move.
Virginia wasn't alone for this special occasion. Many of her family members took time off from work in the middle of the week to be there for her special dance.
That was my main blessing. That was my main blessing, because I thought I was only going to have 4, but more showed up. And my little great-granddaughter showed up. That kind of filled in the outer places and made it perfect.
While Virginia and Sam danced, the people of Exeter had nobody to thank but themselves for the incredible effort that was given to Denise to give Virginia a birthday to remember.
The dance itself was, I don't know if there was a dry eye in the room. How do we top it at 102? Well, we have a year to think of that.
Dancing with Sam made me feel very unsure of myself. But I wanted it that bad that I was willing to risk it.
So you would say that it was worth the risk?
It was a blessing, a big with a capital B.
That does it for this week's report. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to help us spread the word. And head over to the town website and subscribe to the town's email newsletter to get this show and other local news sent straight to your inbox. For Exeter TV, I'm Bob Glowacki, and this has been the Exeter Biweekly Report. Have a good weekend, Exeter. And thank you, Daylight Savings Time.